It has certainly been a unpredictable and eventful day here in the northern portion of Wyoming. Sounds like it's really kind of been all over the state today. Rumor has it that power lines are catching on fire, power stations are catching on fire, but the jury's out. There's really no verdict as of 5:30 on November 13th, but by the grace of God, we are here for the preview episode to talk about our Texas A&M Aggies in the special year that they are having. And I've got some thoughts. I've got an analysis on this game, on this matchup, as Texas A&M is set to be back at Kyle Field on Saturday for the first time in 35 days. So this is an exciting one. Howdy, fans of the 12th man. Welcome into this Above the Yell episode. I'm your host, Weston Pope. Guys, for those of you who may be visiting the channel for the first time, please subscribe. And for those of you who are returning and who have been faithfully watching, thank you for your viewership. Thank you for the time that you have taken out of your day to listen to me talk about something that I am deeply passionate about and love deeply as well. So, guys, please continue to like and subscribe and comment. Love interacting with you guys. Love to hear your score predictions. So thank you. Thank you again for your support. And I'm just extremely blessed and thankful to be able to be here and to cover this team this year. It's been a phenomenal year. It's been a historic year. Texas A&M is sitting at number 3 in the country. That is the latest ranking from the college football playoff rankings on Tuesday. They're 9-0 and 9-0 on the season, 6-0 in conference. They're 9-0 for the first time since 1992, 6-0 in conference for the first time since 1998, and 6-0 in the SEC since joining in 2012. So Texas A&M, they're facing a lot of first times this season. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz, and rightfully so. So, without further ado, let's dive right into this matchup as the South Carolina Gamecocks are set to come into Kyle Field. Kickoff is set for an 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, Texas A&M coming into this matchup, as I said, 9-0. South Carolina, they have not really had the year that they were anticipating. They're sitting at 3-6 right now. Despite that record, I think they've still got some really talented players. They've just really struggled to put it together. I think this preview episode is pretty cut and dry. I think simply Texas A&M, they need to go in Saturday and just take care of business. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be flashy. Just take care of business. The South Carolina team, they've put up some fights against Alabama and Missouri earlier in the year. And in those moments, I think South Carolina, they were really clicking offensively. I think Lenore Sellers, he had a really good year last year. South Carolina as a whole had a really good year last year. For those of you who remember or may not remember, Texas A&M waltzed into Williams-Brice Stadium last fall, and they got their man card taken from them. I believe Texas A&M was sitting right at number 10, so they were a top 10 team in the country. And they go in there, and South Carolina beats them physically, mentally, really across the board. And South Carolina won that game really off the backs of Lenore Sellers and Raheem Sanders. Both of those guys just ran all over the Texas A&M defense. So there's a little bit of maybe a revenge factor in this game, just because that loss last year was embarrassing. That's the only way to spin it. It was an embarrassing loss. It was really unexpected to just be dominated like that. I don't know that anybody necessarily saw that. I remember there were some ideas that A&M could be on upset alert, that they were on upset alert, but South Carolina really just beat them down, beat them by 24 points. So, yeah, this year we'll see what it brings. But South Carolina, they had a lot of high expectations coming into this season. I believe they came in at number 13 in the first college football rankings of the season earlier this year, and rightfully so. Lenore Sellers is returning. Their quarterback, Dylan Stewart, defensive end, he was phenomenal for them last year, one of the best in the country. A lot of expectations, and really they just haven't been able to consistently put it together this year. Like I said, though, they played it fairly close with Missouri and Alabama. I believe in those games, Lenore Sellers accounted for over 500, I believe 591 yards of offense and 4 touchdowns just between those two games. So when he decides to really turn it on and break containment that defenses have on him, he is really lethal. He was lethal last year, and I still believe that he's just as talented this year and can really do has the potential and the ability to do the same thing to Texas A&M defensively. So something I'm going to be keeping an eye on for Texas A&M. Like I said, there's a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a lot of firsts. They got to take care of business this Saturday. So what will that look like? I'm looking for a Texas A&M team to be disciplined. How focused will they be is a question that I have. And then offensively for Texas A&M, what will that look like? I've talked about South Carolina offensively a little bit. They've struggled this year, but Texas A&M, they've been able to consistently be productive on offense. And then for South Carolina on the defensive side of the ball, that's certainly where they're stronger. I believe they are top 50, top 60 in every statistical category defensively. I believe their strongest side on that side of the ball is their secondary, but it sounds like they've not really been good in rush yards a lot game. So I look for A&M to kind of attack this defense on the ground. Like I said, I don't know that it's necessarily going to have to be flashy. I don't know that we're going to see the ball in the air a whole lot, especially just Texas A&M. I think you got to roll with your strengths and just go strength on weakness. For them, that's just running the ball with Reuben Owens, Jamarian Morrow, EJ Smith. We've seen those three guys really step up in the absence of Le'Veon Moss, and still Le'Veon Moss is expected to return later this season. But time will tell on that. But those three guys, EJ Smith, Jamarian Morrow, and Reuben Owens, have really stepped up at the plate, and they've really been fun to watch. I think Reuben Owens has improved drastically, and I think a lot of that has to do with just seeing more playing time as a true running back. Just being the primary ball carrier, had a phenomenal game against Missouri. So looking for that to possibly repeat in this game, and then also just playing clean football. I think A&M got to play clean football at home. There's going to be a lot of excitement. I think it's going to be a phenomenal atmosphere in Kyle Field, easily 100,000 strong. So yeah, it's so special to be part of the 12th man and a part of this institution. South Carolina, just want to go back real quickly to their offense. South Carolina offensively ranks 129th overall, 103rd in passing, 128th in rushing, and 120th in scoring. As far as I'm concerned, if you're Texas A&M, you should prepare as if they're number one in all those categories. I think, as I said, while South Carolina offensively hasn't been really consistent, Sellers, he's so talented, I think, and just really such an X factor in the game, and can really just burn you in so many different ways, just like he did last year. And then on top of that, Nick Arbor. I don't know. I know people who have watched South Carolina and people who have even predicted this game have most likely talked about him. He is a sophomore. He's got the frame of Calvin Johnson. He's got the speed of Tyreek Hill. He's 6'5", 235 pounds. I believe he runs a 4.26 40. So he's really an alien. He can beat you any way to Saturday on the field. And so far this year, he has led South Carolina with 401 yards receiving on 4 touchdowns. So while he might not be intimidating statistically, I think this guy is still a nightmare to cover. So that is something that I will certainly be keeping an eye on. A guy that I will be watching is Nick Arbor on offense for South Carolina, and of course, Lenoris Sellers. How does Texas A&M defensively stay disciplined? How do they cover Nick Arbor? We've seen Des Ricks, we've seen Will Lee kind of go up and down so far this season. Overall, I think they've been really consistent. They've played complementary football towards each other. And then also Marcus Ratcliffe at safety, Dalton Brooks as well. Got some really good guys there in the secondary. And then, of course, you all know about Torian York and Damian Sanford. Those guys have just been phenomenal as well. And looking to see how this pass rush is going to get to Lenoris Sellers. We know that this pass rush is really good with Cassius Howe and Tyler Onyedum and DJ Hicks and Marco Jones and just so many guys. They're so dynamic. They're able to get to the quarterback so quickly. It's been so much fun to watch. So yeah, this episode I think is pretty clean cut and dry. Really, just take care of business against a struggling South Carolina team that's coming into your home turf, and you're back home for the first time in over a month. So for Texas A&M, it's simple. For me, take care of business, take care of the football. I think run the ball. I think run the ball is going to be a big point of emphasis for this Texas A&M offense on Saturday. And then I'm not saying the possibility is not there for South Carolina to keep this one close. I think that's just the nature of college football. I think most teams have the talent in the kids, the athletes to still contend with these higher, these higher up teams. So I would not be awfully surprised. I would be a little bit surprised, but not just terribly surprised if South Carolina makes A&M struggle a little bit, struggle to find their rhythm, struggle to really pull away. But I do have Texas A&M winning this game. I've gone a little bold with my prediction. I think Texas A&M wins 37-13. I think there's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of buzz, really a lot of juice, and I'm hoping that this defense just really shuts down the South Carolina offensively, and then I think offensively for A&M, just take care of business, just run the ball, take the throws that are there. Really doesn't have to be anything incredibly flashy, but I do think it's going to be a good game for Texas A&M, and I'm looking for a final score of 37-13, and for Texas A&M to move to 10-0 and 7-0 in the conference. But yeah, that's what I've got. 1 week at a time. Obviously, want to know mentality every week, but excited for this one. Excited to see our Aggies back at Kyle Field. So, for those of you who have watched to the very end of this episode, thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your time. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Just a guy really trying to put his dreams and goals together through this podcast, through covering Texas A&M. So yeah, and as always, I will plan for a post game reaction episode once the game concludes. So until then, gig 'em and God bless.